like jam this thing into her wrist, like literally.
Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and if you couldn't tell by the title of today's video, I will be talking about my first ever college roommate. Freshman year of college, definitely not what I expected. So I want to tell my story. I'm sure everyone probably has that crazy roommate story, whether it was your first roommate in your apartment, first college roommate, whatever the case. I'm sure everyone probably has that one roommate that was just like never again in life. So I definitely have one of those, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna share this story. I'm not gonna use my roommate's actual name. We're gonna call her Susie. So just bear with me and keep that in mind throughout this video. So I don't even know where to begin this story, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna start at the very beginning when Susie and I first initially, chatted each other over like social media. So over the summer, our school released on the website like who you're gonna be roomed with, what room you're gonna be in, you know, the usual stuff. So of course, because I'm a creeper, I instantly like looked up who I was gonna be roomed with, found them on Facebook and all that stuff. Yeah, that was me. I was a creeper, but whatever. So I found them on Facebook. I did end up adding Susie, and we like kind of hit it off right away. I honestly didn't sense any bad vibes from her when we were talking. Honestly, it was just kind of like chill. So when I first initially hit up Susie on Facebook, I really didn't get any bad vibes. We had like a kitchenette in our dorm room, so we were kind of like trying to figure out like what we were gonna bring and stuff like that, like just kind of coordinating all the usual stuff, like what we're gonna bring for the dorm and should I bring this, so like we were pretty chill like over the summer when we were like just kind of like talking over Facebook. Fast forward to actual move-in day when I officially first meet Susie for the first time. I said first twice. So when I officially like meet Susie in person, I still didn't really get any bad vibes. The only thing that I did notice right away is the fact that Susie already had a bunch of people just in and out of our dorm room, which I'm not one to get mad about stuff. I don't really like care usually. So that was whatever. I didn't really care about that. I knew she had people up there because she grew up there. Her house was like 5 minutes from the school that we stayed at. So that wasn't the issue. The issue came when, which I'll explain later in the story, when all these people that she had rotating in and out of our dorm room, one of them actually ended up stealing stuff from me. So I'll get to that part in a second. So at first, Susie and I didn't really hang out too much. Like after we moved our stuff in, I kind of like went and hung out with my sister more because my sister did go to school with me. Susie was kind of with her friends again. She grew up there, so we didn't really like talk too much at first. Randomly one night I was at my sister's dorm and Susie actually ended up messaging me on Facebook like, hey, I thought we were gonna be a little bit closer, like I wish we could hang out, blah 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 blah. So after Susie messaged me that night, me and Susie do end up hanging out, and I feel like this is where it downward spiraled. Maybe if we would have stayed like distant, just said our highs and byes, and maybe we could have been cool. I ended up hanging out with her. This is the first incident. So Susan and I go to a party, and this is our first time hanging out, so I'm just honestly interested to get to know her more. Again, I didn't have any red flags at this point. So we go to our first party together, and instantly I regret it. So I'm not a judgmental person at all. I just want to like clear that up. I'm not judgmental in any way, shape, or form. Whatever you want to do, like do you. This is what you want to do. Susie though really pushed the envelope. So the first party that we go to, she already, I can tell she parties differently than me, and that's fine. But I don't want to go to a party and be the mom of the night. I don't want to go to a party and be the babysitter of the night. I don't really know you like that. I mean, you aren't even friends like that. This girl was already so blackout wasted. I had to pull her out of the bathroom multiple times with multiple dudes, pull her out of cars multiple times with multiple different dudes. And I remember her best friend saying, well, that's just her, just get used to it, which, okay, that's fine. I don't really want to get used to it. I didn't sign up to be anyone's mom. But when I'm now playing babysitter and playing mom, and I have to drag you from the bathroom multiple times from multiple different dudes, and now you're like getting into random cars with multiple dudes, and I'm grabbing you out of cars from multiple dudes, now this is like becoming an issue. And like, I didn't sign up to be anyone's mom. I don't even know you like that. So I already started to get annoyed with the way Susie did her partying, which if that's how you want to party, that's fine. I'm not gonna judge you, but I just don't want to be your mom all night. So me and Susie kind of did stop hanging out a little bit, but I was still trying to give her a chance because again, I didn't like judge her because of that. I mean, that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, just whatever. So we still kind of hung out here and there, and each time we hung out, I just started to get more and more just annoyed with the things that she did. Not only did she just constantly have to be the center of attention when it came to just being around a group of guys. You know, that one girl at the party who like tries to downplay anyone that she's around because she wants to make herself look better. She was that person. I'm not like that. I'm not changing the way I act no matter who's around. So that was another thing that annoyed me about her. Now I'm gonna kind of like fast forward to the part where she had all these people in our room. So every single night, and now keep in mind, I was in the room with her, so it was very easy for me to hear everything that was going on at night. So every single night this girl had someone new in the room, and no, they weren't just having conversation and watching Netflix. It was definitely the Netflix was watching them type of thing every single night. And again, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. It was annoying when I had to get up super early in the morning and go to class the next day, and she kept me up all night because they weren't quiet in any way, shape, or form. So that was really traumatizing, to be honest. So this was an every night thing, and it starts to become really annoying because I'm like, girl, can't you go to their room for once? Like, why does it always have to be in our room every single night? Like, come on, go to a different room. And then it started to get to the point where now these guys were just constantly in and out, and now one of them ends up stealing from me. So the one that ended up stealing from me is actually not someone that she was messing around with. It was just some random dude that she constantly had around. This dude ends up stealing money, my keys to my dorm, which I had to pay to get a new key, and I had to pay to get a new student ID because he stole that too. So I think it was over Christmas break. I went home for those couple of weeks, and when I came back, that's when I realized that I had some stuff missing. I had money stolen, I had my student ID stolen, and my key that was attached to my student ID, that was gone. So turns out one of Susie's friends that she would let sleep in the dorm room when we weren't there ended up stealing it from me. I didn't even know that this dude was sleeping in our dorm room when we weren't there. So it turns out that whenever I would go home, he would come over and this dude would sleep in my bed. I don't know about anyone else, but my bed is like my sacred place. Like if I don't even know you, what makes you think I want you like in my bed? So instantly I was upset. So I approached Susie about the situation because it's her friend that was stealing from me, and this dude's also been sleeping in my bed. So it's like, girl, now we're gonna talk. So now I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna talk to you calmly. I spoke very calmly. So I approached Susie and I'm like,
hey, like, this dude's done coming in here, this dude's done sleeping in my bed, like, I'm like, this is like no more.
After I approached Susie about the situation, we kind of like talked about it. She didn't really care too much. I feel like she kind of just blew it off. It wasn't her stuff that got touched. I will say though that was the last time that dude came over, because I did end up going to the RA and got him banned from even coming into our building. So. And the only reason I did that, guys, is because he not only stole from me, but he stole from multiple other people in that building. So everyone was just pretty much tired of him at this point. We all knew that he was Susie's friend, so we tried to be nice to him, but this dude had stolen from us so many times. So when I got stolen from, I was like, you know what?
What? You're not coming back.
He didn't even go to the school. Like, you don't even go here.
She doesn't even go here.
So I think Susie could kind of like sense the tension between us, like after that situation with my stuff getting stolen happened. I think she kind of sensed like I was really over her. Again, I didn't really hold it against her too much because it wasn't her that stole it, it was her friend. I still feel like she was kind of to blame though, but whatever. So I wasn't really holding it against her too much. I would still kind of like have conversations with her, but I definitely think she could tell that I wasn't really like fond of her too much. So one day we're in the room and she's just kind of like talking to me, kind of like trying to like open up to me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So she ends up, during that conversation, she pulls out this list, and this list is like, it's just a list of names, and I'm like, okay, like, what is this? What am I looking at? So she pretty much makes this joke to where she's like, this is the list of all the people that I've been with. To her, it was an ongoing joke. I don't know what she thought in her head, that's her. But she had this list of about 34 guy names. And it turns out that these were all guys that she had been with within the past, like, month. And 24 of those guys were within the past, like, 3 weeks. So if you do the math there, that's her prerogative. Again, whatever, that's what you want to do, girl, get it, do you. So I ended up totally forgetting about this list. Like, I didn't really care for it too much. I was just kind of like, wow, that's a lot, but whatever, it's not me. So this list ends up coming back up because Susie is like sitting in the room crying one day, and I'm like, you know, what's going on? Because I don't hate the girl. So I ask her what's going on, and she lets me know she's pretty much having like some problem. So we end up going to the doctor, and Susie ends up finding out that she does have an STD. Now, keep in mind this list, guys. So not only does she have one STD, within a matter of a couple weeks, I'm kind of going to jump a little bit so that you guys can just kind of get the point of what I'm about to say. So we go to the doctor this week. She finds out she has an STD. We end up going to the doctor just like a few weeks later, maybe like a month later, because she's still having complications. She finds out that she has another STD. So keep in mind this list, guys. When she finds out that she has these STDs, the doctor lets her know, like, hey, you got to call these people and let them know that they need to get tested. So she had to call a list of 24 guys and let them know, like, hey, you gotta go get tested. So imagine having that conversation and you still gotta walk around the campus to see every single one of these dudes. I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't do it. So I honestly kind of felt bad for her. But at the end of the day, you were kind of bringing that onto yourself. And I didn't feel bad because she was laughing and making jokes about it. And one of the STDs that she has, there's no cure for, so let's just keep that in mind. So I kind of got annoyed when she started like laughing and making jokes about it, because like, and it wasn't like a nervous laugh. I know that some people kind of get like nervous and like they laugh a little bit, or like laugh and that's how they cope with things. This wasn't that. Like, she was calling these dudes up and like laughing and making a joke, like, haha, yeah, you gotta go get tested. And these dudes are getting like pissed off, obviously. Like, they're getting pissed off. Some are hanging up on her. Some are like, honestly, I felt like she probably could have honestly been in a very dangerous situation, because some people take that really seriously. Like, if you call them up and tell them go get tested, if you did give them something, they can honestly retaliate or do something to you. So I kind of felt bad for her a little bit, but then again, when she started making jokes about it and laughing about it, like, girl, I don't feel bad for you. So I became annoyed when she started making like jokes about it and laughing about it. Like, she would like say her motto was, if a guy can do it, a girl can do it too. Like, no, like, if you have an STD, you stop and you don't keep continuing to sleep with people unprotected and brag about it. Like, that's just me. I thought that was common sense, but I guess not. So she continued to brag about it and still sleep with people and brag about how she's doing it unprotected. So honestly, I'm like, isn't that against the law or no? After that day, I kind of really stopped hanging out with her, because I'm like, yeah, we're just totally two different people. So because me and her weren't talking, you would expect that she would not touch anything of mine, correct? No, not correct. This girl decides that she's going to go into all of my brand new groceries and open them all up. Let's keep in mind, I was a broke college student, so don't nobody got money to keep going back to the grocery store. So I get home one day and I notice that all of my brand new groceries are open, and Susie's the only one in the room. And so of course I approached her like,
Are you gonna pay for my groceries?
it's like, no. So of course I approached her about the situation. I'm like, dude, these weren't even open. Like, I'm not a selfish person. Like, I want to get that on the table. I'm not a selfish person. Like, if you want something of mine, just ask. But if me and you aren't even cool and like we're not even talking, what makes you think you can touch my food? Like, brand new boxes were already open and like half empty already, and I had just bought them and they weren't even open yet. So of course I approached her about the situation. I'm like, hey, like, I don't mind if you like, you know, want anything of mine, but can you just ask first, because all of this stuff is open now. Wasn't even open, it's halfway gone. Susie completely blows me off, tells me that I'm stupid to get out of her face, she doesn't know what I'm talking about, and goes on this rant. I'm like, girl, you ate my food. What? She just leaves. And I didn't get my food back. I mean, there was nothing I could do about it. I can't make her throw the food back up. I mean, that was another thing that really built up to the tension between Susie and I. Me and Susie really aren't talking at this point. Like, after the food situation, like, I love food, guys. I'll share my food with anybody, but just please ask me. So after that situation happened, I really kind of cut Susie off. I was like, yo, me and you really can't be cool. I started like hiding my food or keeping it in my other friend's dorm, which was, she lived a couple dorms down from me. It was really annoying that I had to do that, but at the end of the day, I was just trying not to have any more conflict or interaction with this girl, because I know me, and I would have gotten kicked out of school if I continued to have these interactions with this girl, because it was just really like boiling up at this point. Like, I was getting to the point where I had zero patience left with her. Let's fast forward to when the big blow up and everything just really goes downhill, and the cops are called, the EMS is called, and let's just jump there. So Susie and I had stopped talking, and she was just kind of doing her own thing. She kind of got the point that I want nothing to do with her. So I don't know what this girl's doing anymore. I'm just chilling in my dorm one night, and I hear out of nowhere there's just this commotion in the hallway, and my friend was in the dorm room with me at the time, and we hear all this commotion like in the hallway, just like out of nowhere, just all this commotion. We could hear people like laughing, and like we heard like someone crying, but at the time we didn't know that it was Susie crying. So we got up and we went out into the hallway, and there's just like a group of people surrounding Susie. Like, Susie was just sprawled out, laying on the ground, like throwing a fit and just crying. So I'm like, I bet you this girl's drunk. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. But these people standing around her, they all know who I am because they know that I'm Susie's roommate. So all these people were standing around Susie, and they're like, hey, like, this is your roommate. Like, come get her. She's just laying on the floor. I mean, I'm not anyone's mom, and she can make her own decisions, but whatever. I did go pick her up because I didn't tell you guys this, so I should probably mention it now. Susie was on a full ride scholarship, and at the end of the day, even if I don't like you, I didn't want her scholarship to get taken away, because if you got caught underage drinking, your scholarship could... Let's try that again. So if you got caught drinking, your scholarship could get taken away, and I didn't want that to happen to her, even though I didn't really like her like that. So my friend and I tried to go pick Susie up off the ground, because all these people were like standing around her laughing, and I wouldn't really want that to happen to me. So even though I didn't really care for her that much, I did pick this girl up, and I tried to drag her into the room. Plot twist, this girl wanted nothing to do with us. This girl starts punching at us, kicking us, screaming to let her go. She doesn't want anything to do with us. So I'm like, all right, well, you can stay on the hallway floor. I didn't let her stay on the hallway floor. I still continued to try to, like, I'm just that type of person. Like, I felt like, girl, like, come on, like, let me help you. So my friend and I are trying to pick Susie up, and like, she's sitting there throwing punches at us, kicking us, yelling at us. She doesn't want anything to do with us, and I'm still trying to help this poor girl out, because I really don't want her scholarship to get taken away. So we finally managed to get this girl in the room, and she's still screaming bloody murder at us, threatening that she's gonna kill us, she's gonna get her families killed. And at this point, I'm like, well, I got you in the room. I feel like I did my part, so you can roll around on the ground in here if you want to. Act a fool, I don't care. So Susie did not stay on the ground, actually. Susie got up and ran to the kitchen, or the little kitchenette that was in our dorm room. Susie gets up and runs to the kitchen, grabs a fork, and starts trying to jam this thing into her wrist. Like, jam this thing into her wrist, like, literally. So obviously I'm not just gonna let this girl sit here and do this in front of me. So I instantly like ran over to her, grabbed it, like ripped it from her hand, because she didn't want me to like touch her. She was still trying to jam this thing into her wrist, screaming at me to get away from her. I'm trying to like wrestle this girl to the ground at this point, like wrestling her to the ground to get this thing away from her so she doesn't like literally like seriously hurt herself. I finally ripped this fork away from her. My friend, keep in mind, was in the room too, and we're both trying to hold her down. We grabbed all the other sharp things, because she didn't just stop at the fork. She got back up and tried to find whatever else she could. So now we're hiding scissors, knives, like forks, spoons, pencils, pens, literally anything sharp, and like trying to hide it from her, like just get it out the room. So for some reason, this gets Susie even more just fired up. This girl starts really trying to like swing on us, kicking us, screaming at the top of her lungs that she's gonna murder our families and get us killed. So she's screaming that she's gonna kill me, and I'm screaming like, girl, I'm just trying to like help you. I really don't know how our RA didn't come to our room when Susie was screaming, because this girl, you would have thought somebody was murdering her, but she was just screaming at the top of our lungs. Our RA finally does end up coming to the room after like about an hour of Susie screaming and going nuts. So the RA comes to the room, and the RA does have to call the cops and like the EMS. So now it's this night was so long, guys. Like, this night was so freaking long. The cops got there. We had to like talk to the cops. We had to talk to the EMS people. We had to talk to our RA. Had to call our families and tell them what was going on. So the EMS does end up taking Susie away in the ambulance that night, and this girl gets on Snapchat. She's in the back of the ambulance, keep in mind. She's on Snapchat just acting a fool, just acting complete nut in the back of the ambulance. I'm so surprised that she didn't get in trouble after that. Like, literally posting it on Snapchat, her just wilding out in the back of this ambulance. So she does this literally all night. She's posting on Snapchat. Even when she gets like to the actual hospital, she's still posting on Snapchat. The next day comes, and my friend and I are still in the dorm room. My friend ended up staying the night in the dorm room with me. Like, we woke up like, did that really just happen last night? Like, so Susie and her best friend walk into the door. They walk into the dorm room, and her best friend gives us the dirtiest look ever. Like, as soon as her best friend walks in, she looks to the side, because like when you walked into the dorm room, if you look this way, my like section was like right there. So she walks in, she looks at us, rolls her eyes, and like gives us the most dirtiest look like ever. Like, sweetie. Keep in mind, guys, I had zero patience at this point, so instantly I went into fight mode again. Like, I wanted to fight all of them all over again. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. So, of course, I said something like,
Do you want to know what actually happened last night, or are you just going to walk in being disrespectful, not knowing anything that happened?
So Susie's best friend did end up coming over to my side of the room, and we told her everything that happened. Apparently, the story that she was told, Susie did end up coming over to the side of the room too, because Susie came over saying, I don't know what happened, I don't remember, I don't know. She was saying that she didn't remember, like, she was so drunk, she can't remember, she blacked out. Like, I'm not the type of person to be like, okay, yeah, you were drunk, I forgive you. I don't feel like being drunk is an excuse to like be that type of way. Like, I feel like if you can't handle your liquor, then you shouldn't be drinking. Like, that's just not cute to me. So I didn't want to hear anything she had to say. So I did end up explaining to Susie's best friend everything that happened, and turns out that Susie told her best friend that we tried to jump her the night before. So that's why Susie's best friend walked in on tip. So after like I found that out, I kind of wasn't really mad at her best friend anymore, because if my best friend told me that some people just tried to jump her and I walked into the room, I mean, I wouldn't have gave them a dirty look. I just would have, like, it would have been on site type of thing. But I mean, whatever. So I wasn't too mad at her best friend. Like, I got it. She was just trying to be there for her friend. After that day, Susie and I really didn't speak anymore. I was really over her. I had zero patience with her. I was upset that I had to share a room with her. Did she change her ways? Definitely not. She still kept being the same person that she was being. So after that, we really went our separate ways. Move out day comes when we had to go home for the summer. Still didn't really speak. Still didn't really say anything to each other. So that's kind of the end of that story. So it just kind of all built up and then exploded. So that is the end of that story, guys. I don't know what she's doing now. I really don't. I think that she like went to the army or something. I don't know. But that's kind of the end of the story, guys. So let me know what you guys thought about this video down in the comments below. Please let me know if you would like me to do more story times. I honestly do have a few stories that I would like to tell you guys. Also, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and also turn on that bell notification so that you can be posted every time I update. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Be the fan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely.